Tilt any zipper you own toward the light. On the pull, you'll see 3 small letters stamped into the metal. Y, K, K. They're on your jacket. They're on your jeans. They're on your gym bag. They're on the combat uniforms of every soldier in the U.S. military. UKK shows up on roughly half the zippers manufactured anywhere on Earth, and the Japanese family-run company that makes them has never once run a TV commercial. They mine their own brass, smelt their own wire, and stamp every single zipper on machines they built themselves. In a Tokyo neighborhood they've quietly occupied since 1934. 90 quiet years of vertical integration is the reason why. Start with the question almost nobody ever actually asks. Why is it always YKK? Levi's uses YKK. The North Face uses YKK. Louis Vuitton uses YKK. Paul Smith, Arc'teryx, Patagonia, all YKK. Even Prada, the entire Prada men's ready-to-wear collection, has a YKK zipper down the fly. The only major brand that's ever gone big without YKK is Nike, and Nike switched specifically because a YKK executive once told them their logo could never appear on the pull. Every other major clothing manufacturer in the world, from the cheap to the luxury, uses the same Japanese zipper. The company behind the letters is not a household name. Most of their customers don't even know it's a Japanese company. The letters stand for Yoshida Kogyo Kabushiki Gaisha, which loosely translates to Yoshida Industries Limited. The man behind it is Tadao Yoshida, born in 1908 in rural Japan, orphaned as a teenager who moved to Tokyo at 20 to work for a trading company that sold, among other things, American zippers. Japan in the 1930s had no real zipper industry of its own. The few zippers you could buy were imported, expensive, and famously unreliable. Yoshida's boss went bankrupt in 1934. Yoshida, then 26 years old and with almost no capital, bought the scrap of the business for 60 yen. He named it Sane Shokai. It wouldn't be called YKK for another 3 decades. Yoshida's insight was radical. Zippers back then were assembled from components: brass teeth from one supplier, cotton tape from another, metal slider from a third. Every supplier had a margin. Every supplier had their own failure rate. A single defective brass tooth ruined the whole zipper, and you couldn't track whose fault it was. Yoshida decided to make everything himself. Every single component. He would mine the ore, smelt the brass, draw the wire, stamp the teeth, weave the tape, mold the slider, and build the machines that did all of it. No outside supplier. No licensed parts. A zipper, from iron ore to finished product, made under one roof. Nobody had ever tried this for a 10-cent component. This is still how YKK operates today. Visit a YKK factory and you'll watch raw brass ore come in on one side of the building and finished zippers leave on the other. They smelt the brass themselves. They draw the wire themselves. They mold the dies themselves. They even build their own stamping machines. YK runs a machine tool division whose only customer is YKK. Their components aren't just in-house. They're custom designed by engineers who answer only to the same company that uses the parts. A competitor who wants to catch up doesn't just need to match YKK's zipper quality. They'd have to build a mine, a foundry, a wire plant, a die shop, and a machine tool factory. Nobody has. Yoshida had a philosophy he called the cycle of goodness. His phrase, in his own words, "No business can succeed alone. Any company that benefits only itself is stealing from the world." The cycle was simple. Do good work for your customer, so the customer does good work for theirs. So eventually, everybody benefits, and the cycle comes back to you. It sounds like poster slogan stuff, but Yoshida enforced it as corporate policy. YKK employees were not allowed to accept personal gifts. YKK was not allowed to gouge customers when demand spiked. YKK was not allowed to lay off workers during recessions. Most importantly, YKK was not allowed to raise prices just because competitors couldn't keep up. Today, YKK makes roughly 7 billion zippers every single year, more than 70% of which go to brands you already know by name. Their factory in Macon, Georgia alone produces nearly 7 million zippers a day for the American market. They operate in 73 countries. They make 20% of every zipper on the entire planet. And if you count only high-performance zippers for jackets, luggage, and the military, the number climbs past 50%. The company has never gone public. It is still majority owned by the Yoshida family. It doesn't advertise. It doesn't license. It doesn't buy its competitors. Tadao Yoshida died in 1993, and his grandson runs the business today on the same principles. There's a pretty simple reason nobody has overtaken YKK in 90 years. Their competitors can't match both price and quality at the same time. The cheap zipper companies can match YKK on price. Their zippers fail after 20 cycles. The premium zipper companies can match YKK on quality. Their zippers cost 4 times as much. YKK sits in the middle on price and at the top on quality because they control every single input, and the margin they skim off each step of their supply chain is their competitive advantage. It has also kept them boring, private, and nearly invisible for decades. 3 letters stamped on a metal pull. That's the only public face YKK has ever wanted. Look at the jacket on the back of your chair. Look at the bag by your door. Look at the jeans you're wearing right now. Tilt the zipper to the light and you'll see them. 3 little letters pressed into a tiny piece of brass that started life as ore in a mine. Smelted by the same company that stamped it, pulled through wire drawn by the same company that designed the stamping machine, on a factory floor owned by the same family. A single family's 90-year-old obsession with owning every step of the process. No advertising, no licensing, no shareholders, no exit. Just a quiet factory in Tokyo that decided, back in 1934, that the best way to make a zipper was to also make the brass, the wire, the tape, the slider, the die, the machine, and the philosophy that ran the whole thing. 90 years later, half the zippers on Earth still say YKK. The company that made them is still privately owned by the same family, in the same Tokyo neighborhood, doing the same unglamorous thing over and over, 7 billion times a year. Every single zipper you've ever touched, from the luxury handbag to the gym shorts, carries the quiet signature of one man's idea about what a good business actually is. So that's just one of them. There's a whole quiet archive of stories like it, hiding inside ordinary objects you never once thought to question. Subscribe so the next one finds you first.